Hey there, Hill folk, and welcome back to another episode of Appalachian Intelligence. So thankful that you guys could join us for another week. Today with you, as always, well, I can't say as always, they bailed on me last week, but with you today, you got Justin, Ryan, and Lance. And today, guys, we have a a couple special guests for you guys. Today with us, we've got the princes of the paranormal. We've got the wizards of the weird. We have Steve Austin of the supernatural, a.k.a. Kyle.
Yes.
And the Ric Flair of the ridiculous, Steve. With us today, we've got Kyle and Steve from the Holosky Podcast. Guys, how are y'all doing?
Great.
That was the best introduction we have ever had.
Hands down.
Hands down.
Hands down.
Hey,
without question.
That's what we try to do here at Appalachian Intelligence.
If there's one thing I'll brag on Justin about, it's he can come up with an introduction.
That was fire. That was spot on.
It was spectacular.
But we're doing good. We're doing well.
Yeah.
Just hanging out here in Illinois. It's been like 1,000,000 degrees, but today it just rained all day. So
nation setting flash flood. There are people that died on the interstate.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Like cars completely underwater.
Look cow.
Absolutely insane.
That's
a shitty commute.
I'll just swim to work.
Yeah, we had a couple of towns wash away a week ago.
Oh
yeah.
Isn't that
and they got hit again today.
crazy?
With more rain, and it flooded over there again today. So nuts here the last couple of weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been crazy, dude. The weather's been nuts. Freaking CERN. It's all
CERN.
CERN.
It's a damn particle collider, man.
It makes the most sense at this point.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Everything that goes on at this point, I'm automatically shaking my fist at the sky and saying, "Dang you, CERN!"
Same. I blamed all my life problems on it.
There you go.
Since '84, I've been like, "What the fuck?"
I was just really hoping. I was really hoping that we would jump into a timeline where we were like super successful and good looking, and
Same.
it just didn't happen.
Right, and that fun. This isn't what this is.
Oh yeah.
I never accomplished, so I think it worked out for me. Okay.
I kept tagging CERN on Twitter, telling them to restart the router. They put us in a good timeline, but they don't listen to me.
That's pretty good. Well, no, guys, we're super grateful that you guys would join us here. It's something really special to me to be a huge fan of content creators out there, and to be a huge fan of a show, and to reach out and then be like, yeah, we'll come on. I mean, to me, I'm still at the point where I'm like, I shouldn't even be having these conversations with these people. But here we are. And
Absolutely,
for that, we are super grateful for that. So we'll just get started here. Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about Holosky Podcast and how you guys got started into podcasting?
Well, Holosky, we pretty much just talk about weird shit, basically. Me and Kyle get together. We take all kinds of stuff, listener experiences. We deep dive into different topics every week, and just kind of go with the flow. Just two blue collar dudes that like to talk about weird stuff, and that's kind of what set the podcast on its course. Is that every time me and Kyle get together, we would talk for like 6 fucking hours nonstop.
That's no joke, man. I would go to Walmart to pick something up, and then I would come back home 3 hours later, which Walmart is literally like 5 minutes from my house.
That's where you run into everybody's Walmart.
And I'd get back, and my wife would be like, "You ran into Steve, didn't you?" And I go, "Yep." Yep. And we naturally have the ability to communicate with each other like that. And my wife has always said, she's like, I could sit down and listen to you guys talk about anything. It doesn't matter what it is. You guys just have a compelling way of communicating with each other. And so from there, and then I got into Rogan, and I'm loving podcasts. I'm like, dude, podcasts are dope. Like, I feel like an old man when I say that, but they're fucking cool, right? And so I started throwing it at Steve. I'm like, Steve, we should probably consider doing this. because we're really good at talking, and podcasts are cool, man. And so that's literally how it fucking kicked off.
So blame Kyle's wife for this monster that she's created.
Absolutely.
Well, good job, Kyle's wife. You created a gym.
Set this monster in motion.
Well, no, that's the thing, man. Like, I know you probably hear from some people, because we do as well. Well, I wish you guys would just stay on topic, or, quit with the banter, or, all this. But dude, that's what I enjoy. Like,
absolutely.
Even early on with this thing, like I was going through and trying to edit every single episode and take out all the coughs and the ums and all this different stuff. And finally I was like, man, this ain't even genuine at this point. This is like, it sounds fake. So from that point on, I'm just like, you know what? Whatever happens, I'm uploading it. Forget it. That's
the exact same path we took. Like because Kyle does everything in house. He edits all our episodes, does everything. And when we first started, he was cutting like 200 different edits and everything.
Yeah, man.
And now we're to the point now where we hit record and we just don't even stop. We're like, whatever.
Yeah. And I'm a perfectionist too. Like when I want to do something, I try to go full throttle. Like there's no middle ground. Like when I release something, I want it to be the best that I'm capable of doing. I'm not saying I'm the best by any means, but I try to do my best. So that's where that comes in. I get a little ridiculous about things at times. Because I'm like, yo, Steve, we got to up our audio quality, dude. We got to get these $400 mics. We have to.
I'm like, I think we sound all right.
No, dude, no. Rogan uses this. We're getting this. I don't give a shit.
Ryan, who
does that? Get something on his mind, you can't.
No,
there's no swaying him. So I just let him do his thing.
That's Justin. That's Justin all over. I get OCD about other things, but this, the YouTube side is all natural. There's zero editing. It's just the only editing I do is making it fit that format, so I can slide it over there.
There you go.
And that's it. And then I pick a thumbnail. I usually try to get one of
boys.
Got it. Yeah. Boom.
there's your thumbnail.
Oh shit.
But no, that's what I enjoy about y'all's podcast, is that it seems genuine. It seems like just two buddies sitting down and chatting it up about, super weird topics. I mean, that's what I love about it. I really, really do.
I appreciate that.
And we did get a little bit of flack when we first started. Like, you didn't stay on topic and you didn't do more research and stuff. And we kind of like went back and forth on changing it. And finally, we're like, you know what? Fuck it. It's our podcast. We're going to do what we want. If people that want to listen to it are going to listen to it, and the people that don't can listen to something else. So, it's just kind of how that falls.
For sure.
So,
yeah, man.
That's better flack than what we got. So,
He's like, you guys got flag, we got hand grenades.
I personally get this message. I have no idea why I'm even friends with this person on Facebook. I don't even know who they are, but I get this personal message and it's got our podcast tagged in and said, "This is just ridiculous." So I was just going to let it go. I'm like, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? This bitch thought this through enough to personally message me and took time out of her day to personally message me just to tell me how ridiculous I am. So I basically, in the most polite way possible, told her to fuck off. And we really didn't care about her opinion. Just don't listen. If you don't believe in any of this, just go on. And then come to find out, she goes to church with my wife's grandmother, who we currently take care of. And so I don't know if you guys know what regular Baptists are, but some of the words I just said would send them into a seizure.
we have a couple listeners. They won't admit to it because they talk so much garbage on the podcast. They leave negative reviews and it'll go in waves. I'm like, the last negative review that was like 6 months ago, but you're still fucking here. So I don't know what to tell you. That just blows my mind when people like, I've never listened to a podcast and I was just so appalled and disgusted that I felt like I need to leave a 1-star review. You know, I just never, ever. Even if it's not good, I'll just shut it off.
That's what I do.
Yeah, exactly. It takes an effort to show that kind of hate.
Yeah. Like how bad did we hurt this person that they come through about every 3 months to tell us how bad we suck?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
What's wrong with this guy?
They do, man. They sign it the exact same name every single time.
I try to let it go, and then I just sit there and I brood on it, and I'm like, this motherfucker, he is bad.
And that may be what keeps him coming back, though.
Yeah, that's probably
Might
true.
be. Oh well, it's fun in the end.
Yeah, that's part of it, man. It's part of it. And I guess you could just kind of let the trolls go, but it's a lot more fun when you just clap back, and that's the good thing about what we're doing here. We're our own bosses. We can say whatever we want to say.
That's right.
I got the microphone. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yep.
I got a lot more people listening to me than the guy leaving the comments on Apple,
That's it.
Plus, the cancel culture is too young to freaking listen to us. So
Yeah, that's probably true. We're probably safe there.
That's a pretty valid point.
We got a few more years, boys. We got to get it in before they come over for this.
Well, they ain't listening to this stuff anyway.
That's probably facts.
I think we'll be okay. When we start dipping into that conspiracy side, then
Dude, the conspiracy side is hot right now.
Oh,
It's nuclear. It's beyond hot.
Everything is just so polarizing, and
Yeah.
it's like you alienate half of your listeners if you even touch on a subject. So,
yes, and you guys, I was listening to the episode of your local alien. Your guys' fan. He was
I think I know what you're talking about.
oh yeah,
he came on your show, and that's when you guys started discussing about how all these UFO sightings, could it be a government thing where they're just trying to get us ready for the actual thing because they know what's out there,
Right.
which is the route I was going. You can ask Justin. I was talking about this for a while, and then I heard that, and I was like, well, that's kind of validating, that other people feel the same way.
For sure. I think just about anything is a possibility. And then in today's world, I mean, if you guys, which I'm sure you have, we've been interested in this shit since we've been little kids. And you can remember back then, especially UFOs, that shit was hush hush. It was just, you hear a guy talking about it, he's fucking nuts, move on. These guys are just making shit up in their head. They're doing whatever. And then now it's in mainstream media. And you have to ask that question, why? Why is it in mainstream media? What's going on here?
what changed to make it to where you can go to the movies and watch shows about alien abductions, where when we were little, you'd have to stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning to listen to Art Bell. You'd have to hide out under your covers with the radio to try to hear what the latest alien abduction story is. It does seem like it's like priming the public for something. If you read on Project Bluebeam and look into that, that's steps that they take to set up whatever's going to come at the end of Bluebeam, whether it be a real alien invasion, a fake alien invasion, whatever it is. They want to prime the masses to be ready to take this in. If a UFO shows up, everybody's going to be like, well, yeah, that's a UFO, and not freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
How we probably should react if we see a UFO and they line up at the White House and shit.
Yeah, that's something we mentioned a lot. Justin mentions it a lot on here. Karmic effect, right? You put stuff out there and get you somewhat used to it. And then when it actually happens, and then you're like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Perfect example of this. Right before COVID hit, my wife was watching The Masked Singer, and that came on Fox, whatever station it was on. I thought this was the craziest show of all time. Why do we care? These celebrities are up there dancing around with this crazy outfit on. But it was everywhere. Ads were everywhere. Masked Singer was going to be on at 8 o'clock on Tuesdays, or whatever it was, over and over and over again. It was this big, huge push. You saw people on Facebook talking about it, people on Twitter talking about it. The kids I taught high school kids, even they were into it. So it was like a huge cultural thing, I guess, a phenomenon there for a few hot minutes, whenever how long it was on for. And then 6 months later, like masks are everywhere.
Everybody's wearing a mask.
It's kind of like I thought back, maybe they were just kind of getting us ready for something they knew was coming anyways. And I think it's probably the case with a whole bunch of stuff.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I didn't even make the correlation until you just said it.
Yeah,
I was like,
same.
holy shit, because I remember my mom would be texting me. She's like, "You watching The Masked Singer tonight?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not." But she's like, "You're missing it." But yeah, that was the hottest thing going before all hell broke loose.
I bet it happens a lot more, like you were saying, because especially guys like us, we don't understand the human psyche at all. we can't even get close to fathom it. And then you hear, like, I know on Tony's show, the Randonautica CEO come on and he starts talking about tapping into collective consciousness. And then you find these other consciousness studies, and it begins to make you wonder, which is kind of always the question, how much more do they know than they're never going to let on that they have perfected remote viewing or things like that. But in our world, it's all possible, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just talking about remote viewing. I mean, look at something like Stranger Things, you know, which I absolutely love. But you guys know, I mean, that's a lot of that's based on the Montauk Project and other things that have been done throughout, totally classified things have been done throughout history, that a lot of this comes from. There's a lot of basis. And me personally, I believe that Stranger Things is probably not so strange. It's probably pretty close to reality or alternate realities. I mean, there's a lot there that I feel like that's possible, totally possible.
And to kind of on the same note we were talking about, you think my timeline may be a little bit off on this, but before Stranger Things dropped in 2017, 2018, I don't remember the exact date. Facebook put out their virtual reality Oculus gaming system, right? And what more remote viewing is that than being able to plug into the metaverse now, and being able to kind of essentially do a whole variety of things. I've got one here. I bought one for my class, my chemistry class, just to do sciencey things with, because it was cool. And I've had it here this summer and mess with it a lot. And the more I get into it, and it's fun, it's absolutely a blast to play with.
I'll bet.
It's like, this is like, I put it on one of my nephews, who's 8, and he was wanting to play a game. And like 30 minutes later, we made him take it off. Like, he came out of it. Like, he was just like, he was immersed. He'd been immersed in that world for 30. It took him 3 or 4 minutes to kind of recalibrate that he was not doing what he was doing. If we want to talk about remote viewing and portals and things while thinking about Stranger Things, I've been kind of tossing this theory around in my mind for a while. Just not been able to put words to it yet. But there's a lot of correlation to what we're able to do just even now through the metaverse on Facebook and the virtual reality, which has been around for a while now, becoming more and more normalized way in which we communicate with people and how we're able to do a whole bunch of different things, which again, I think what's going on in Stranger Things is probably not really very strange, just like JK said, but we got that came out first, right? Those things were there first to kind of get us adjusted to that. We shouldn't be able to remote view. I shouldn't be able to put the headset on with somebody in Singapore. Like, it's just weird that there's more and more technology coming out. There's more and more sensors coming out with all the time. You can touch things now. You can feel things. You got one you can put in your mouth. You can talk and do all sorts of more and more realistic things through a virtual reality way. And it's just like, there's a portal. That is a portal. Right there is a portal. Right there.
Yeah.
Very easy way to take my mind anywhere I want to.
Yep. What movie was it? Ready Player One?
Oh, yeah.
That's the only way they even communicate with people at that point. Like, all of society and everything's broke down. You just go and you get in the metaverse, and that's your life. You build a whole persona there, and then you come out of it just to sleep, and then you go back and live your life there.
Yeah.
I often wonder if that's like where we're all going to end up, just
Probably.
in the metaverse.
Well, it'd be kind of like it's almost like the Matrix, in a way. It's just that Matrix you're permanently plugged in for the most part.
Yeah.
Who says that's not something that's not a realistic possibility?
Oh yeah.
The sky was white the other day instead of blue. I thought that was a glitch, but my son told me it was just really cloudy, and There's clouds right there.
It was going to be early that day. It was going to be early that day.
But I did have a thought, Lance, as you were talking about that, with that little kid like coming out of it. So we know we have our frontal lobe behind our eyes, straight back. There's the pineal gland, the pineal gland, whatever, which is activated by DMT, the magic mushrooms, anything like that. What if the Oculus is activating that and controlling the narrative of the trip, so you see what they put there, but now it's activated that, so now he's coming back too. The comedian Ari Shaffir took DMT, and it's like a 10-12 minute trip, and he was out hard and came to, and then talked about living a life for like 3 or 4 months with a wife, kids, and all that. And it affected him so bad he cried because he missed his family. Like, it was that real to him. So in the same way, if they figured out how to activate our pineal gland and then control the narrative of what you see, dude, who's to say we don't live in a matrix right now?
My nephew's what you're telling me, right? Don't do that. Don't let him put it back on. No more. No more for you.
Yeah, we've got one at our house, and my youngest boy will play it all the time. He just gets immersed in it. Like it's just a whole different world for him. And I put it on a couple times and just gives me a headache. So I'm like,
me too. Gives me a headache, makes me sick.
Yeah, I'm like, nah. I'll go back and play Xbox if I need it.
Yeah. Well, you talking about Ari Shaffir right there, Ryan, reminds me of actually an episode that Kyle and Steve did, was the lamp episode. What's up with the lamp, or what's the deal with the lamp? Like, dude, that blew my mind. Yes. That blew my mind.
Yes. Yeah, that was one of our early episodes.
Yeah, that's the same kind of deal, man.
Yeah, absolutely. When he was describing it, I was thinking the same thing. That's what I thought
too. I remember finding that the account on Reddit and reading it, and like, you felt genuinely bad for this guy who had created a whole world, a whole life, had a wife, had kids, everything, and then it was just it never really happened. I mean, it didn't happen on this lifeline anyway. But when he snapped back out of it and realized, like, my wife's gone, my kids are gone, everything I've known for the last 11 or 12 years. Mm-hmm. Had just been wiped away.
I couldn't imagine that thought process either. Yeah. Like, trying to
be heartbreaking
to break that down, like coming back, because we've all had those dreams when you wake up and this shit feels real, right? But I've never had anything in comparison where it's been 12 plus years, and like, imagine if you could specifically recall like your son's 3rd birthday, and then your daughter's 7th birthday, like, just completely break down a 12-year time frame in your mind. Processing that would be devastating. It really would. It would feel like losing your family.
And how he ended it, how he said every day he's still looking to see if he can see his wife or his son in this world that he's in, not the world that he lost.
Yeah, that's just,
I would recommend DMT, but what if he ended up with another family and then missed them too? And I feel like shit. So.
It makes you makes you wonder if there is a family out there whose father figure just disappeared. Are they on the other end of the spectrum, just wondering where the fuck this guy went? Like, where's dad? He went out for milk and never came back. Shit.
Well, maybe that's the basis behind like missing 411. Maybe a lot of these.
I was going to say the same thing. Is David Politis of that timeline talking about their dad?
Yeah,
and he's over here just fine.
Could be,
dude.
And it's just like when you open your brain and you start to think about that, and you go down those rabbit holes of swapping timelines and swapping universes, and the theory that there is a universe for every possible outcome in your life ever, that ever could exist, ever would exist, ever can exist. There could just be one thing in your life that's different. Like your car keys are hung up somewhere different, and that's a different timeline than you were in when you hung those car keys up, and you would never fucking know that you swapped over. And I get to thinking about that, like when I'm thinking about like, oh, I put my phone on the coffee table, and then I go about my business, and I come back, and it's on the couch. I'm like, man, did I put it over there, or did I just swap timelines? Am I in an alternate fucking reality right now?
CERN.
Yeah, damn you, CERN. Quit colliding my particles.
So I think I did go to a different timeline, or something's happened. So a little while back, I'm going through my calendar app, like checking for paydays, what bills, what credit cards need to come out where, reminders, And I got a notification on June the 12th. So I click on it, and it says dragons found. I was like, what? Where the hell did this come from? So I called Justin. I'm like, hey, man, have we talked about dragons lately? Or did we talk about finding dragons? He's like, no. So I asked my wife and everybody else. I guess I found dragons somehow. It must have been I don't remember taking that many gummies, but I found
you're a dragon hunter in this life. You just gotta figure it out. Man,
that seems like a risky occupation.
Yeah,
to say the least.
That's what I'm saying. I think sawmill work's probably way better than dragon hunting.
Yeah, well, I'll just stick with the sawmill.
Yeah.
I will tell you one thing. Since they fired that motherfucker back up, my luck has been dog shit.
Yeah.
Totaled my car out last week.
Oh.
My fucking air conditioner took a shit. Like just one after another. I've been fighting my car insurance all week. I'm like, come on. Shut that son of a bitch off. Give it 30 seconds. Turn it back on where my luck starts to pick up a little bit.
Yeah. Just one more time.
Yeah. Just give me something.
You have one job, sir.
Just call Tony down and tell him to sneak into the miniature particle one in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and fire that one on and see if it kind of counteracts.
I messaged him when I heard about it. I'm like, Tony, we're gonna need boots on the ground at that one in Tennessee.
So, fun fact about that. I was watching, my wife started a TV show the other day called Eureka. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It's Canadian based. It's basically about a town where the governments of the world have sent the brightest minds to this facility, and it's called Global Dynamic. They live in this town. It's the DOD's involved, Global Dynamics, and the town. Everybody there are geniuses. But anyway, so I was like looking up cast members that I'd seen in other shows before, but then it was talking about Eureka, how it's based off a real town. So I click on that, only to find out that this town where they actually sent back in World War II the brightest minds around the world and created this little town is Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Wow. Where the tiny particle collider is. Weird.
Yes.
Interesting.
Weird.
That's weird, huh?
It is weird.
Like
It
that
makes sense,
that entire place too. They have like this. When I worked for that gas company a long time ago, we were drilling down there. I don't know what we were drilling, but it was basically this place where you can take your ATVs, UTVs, whatever, and pay a whatever amount, and there's hill climbs. It's just racetracks for all kinds of things. But when you get to the top of that, it's windmills as far as the eye can see. And that actually powers the city of Knoxville, which is closest to Oak Ridge, because you hit Knoxville and then you're in Oak Ridge.
I'll be damned.
But after learning about that, I started looking into that more, and that's crazy. Yeah, because they got that small particle collider.
It makes you wonder how many of those they have out there that we don't fucking know about.
Probably more than what we know.
It also makes me question whether I should have laughed at the whirling Wimpus or not. If these dudes are down here creating Appalachian cryptids.
Well, dude, it really does make sense, though. I mean, if you're going to put, like we've talked about on this show, 1,000 different times. If you're going to hide something away, you know, whether it be a dumb or a secret military base or a data center that looks really, really sketchy, where better to put it than in the Appalachian Mountains? I mean, there's, you know, nobody's going to check on it. There's nobody here.
Middle of nowhere.
Yep.
That's it, man. That's it.
Yep.
And that data center he alludes to is literally less than 1,000 feet from my back door.
No shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
There's some crazy.
So just like you guys told Tony, we needed boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground, baby.
I've already told Lance, you've only got one job from this point on.
Maybe that's what his Oculus is tapping into.
There you go.
It's got a direct link right to it.
You know, this too, like we walk over there a lot. I have two little girls with their brother bikes over there. There's a road that goes around it. On the sidewalk that runs around it. And on the inside of the sidewalk is a fence. And I know the guy that put the fence in. It's a 12-foot fence. 4 feet of that is in the, excuse me, 16-foot fence. 4 feet of that's in the ground. 12 feet sticks up. All right. So when you go over there and we walk a lot, especially this time of the year, it's nice. If you're walking on the road, no big deal. The moment you step on the sidewalk, security guy will come out on a gator and check. Won't say anything, just drive by and see you. And me and my wife were there last year, and I told these boys, this probably wasn't the smartest thing, but I did it anyways. I kept the girls on the road. I'd walk about 500 feet, and I'd hop up on the sidewalk. A couple minutes, out he came. I'd get off the sidewalk. I'd go another 500 feet, back up on the sidewalk. Out he came. He did this, I don't know how many times. Every time I stepped foot on that, he would come out to check and see what I was doing.
That's a real dick move, Lance.
Almost makes you wonder if they got like ground sensors and shit in there.
I don't know. We're in the middle of nowhere over there. I mean, there's where we're at. I live in the town of Wise, but where I'm at is out, and there's street lights and stuff, and you can see some of the cameras. But some of those places, like there's nothing around that you can see at least. You know, you can't see a security camera anywhere. There's for whatever reason, and like you can tell by the 4th time, he kind of like gave me a look like, all right, buddy, like what are you doing? But every time he did his nuts.
Swapped the dude's timeline. He's fucking with me.
You should have looked him dead in the face and said, look, why don't you do this on foot? Put that gator up. We'll see how bad you are then.
Well, if they open a black hole, at least give us a heads up, you know.
Yeah.
I'll have something. I'll leave something. I'm going in or leave something behind.
Yeah, we'll have to know something.
Shit,
I would say
Lance would be the first to go. We'll try.
Shoot some smoke signals, something. Leave us a bad review on Apple.
Anything.
You know?
Anything.
Oh man, but no, like you guys are collectors of stories and accounts, you know, a lot like we are, only on a way larger scale, I might say. But I've really wondered, like, because I think we all have our, you know, of course we love, you know, all of us sitting here, we love this topic of the paranormal and UFOs and cryptids and, you know, like we're talking now, altered timelines or alternate realities. But what are some of the things that you guys like? You know, we all have our little niches that we really, really, really dive deep in and enjoy. So what's that for you guys, you know, collectively and individually?
I'm gonna have to think on this one for a minute.
I mean, one of my biggest for the longest time was extraterrestrials, the whole alien shit. Because I had so many things in my life that happened that, you know, me and Steve talking, we kind of dubbed it towards the ET side of things. So it's always been kind of at the forefront of my mind. You know, a lot of times, I mean, I'm not talking down on anybody or anything, but like for the longest time, ghosts and shit have been at the very ultra bottom of the barrel for me. And then ET's been way up here at the top. But here of late, I'm not saying it's flip-flopping, but that spiritual side is definitely knocking at my door like, hey, I deserve a little bit of attention, asshole. You know what I mean? Like, because we've had some weird fucking shit happen. Like ever since the Bledsoe encounter, lots of fucking weird things have happened, and a lot of things that I wholeheartedly can't fucking explain. Cannot even begin to explain. And I can't deny it either. You know, from a religious standpoint, I'm not the most religious guy on the planet. You know, I believe in something. I don't put a face to it per se. And the fact that I seen what I seen and experienced what I experienced, and then I experienced what I did at the convention and everything else, it's a very bare fucking minimum. It has let me know that there's something out there, whether it's, you know, homies who have passed, family members who have passed, or dude upstairs, whatever it is, somebody's looking out for me and making sure that I'm all right on my journey, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, when we came back from the spirituality convention, Kyle came back a different person.
Oh, dude, it fucked me up. I'm not gonna lie, it fucked me up. It was probably one of the coolest things I've ever experienced.
That's awesome.
Well, you know, I think that's no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it was wild. It was absolutely wild because, like Steve, I didn't give lady shit. Like, I didn't give her nothing to feed off of. There was no possible way she could have did what she did, unless it was that lightning strike odds that she pulled that card that was gonna highly resonate with me. Because as soon as she pulled that card, I broke down in tears. I was done. I lost it.
For those that don't know what's going on, we got invited to the Kansas City Paranormal and Spirituality Convention, which was awesome weekend. But it was like 95% spirituality and metaphysical, and there was like 3 paranormal tables. So it was like us, the alien gal, the ghost hunters, and the Bigfoot guy. We're like kind of back in this corner, and there was like the rest of the convention hall. There were like sound healers and Reiki masters and chakra readers and tarot readers and all kinds of awesome shit. And Kyle we're like, okay, we're here. We might as well do it. You know, just pick something out and do it. And Kyle went and had his a tarot pulled, and it was
wild, man. And like, because we both had done a handwriting analysis prior, and she fucking smoked us, dude. She had us pegged dead to rights. Like, I could be wrong when I say this, but it didn't feel ultra spiritual, but she pegged us dead, like who we are personality wise. And she just pegged us fucking dead to rights just by reading our handwriting. It's bizarre.
It was weird.
Because he's sitting here listening, and I can see him out of my periphery fucking laughing like, that's you, motherfucker. That's you to a T. And then she starts hitting him, and I'm like, yeah.
And I was trying to like dupe her, you know, because you go in there and you sit down, and she has you write a series of like 10 words. And I'm like, well, fuck that. I'm not going to write anything. I just copied her pamphlet because I'm not writing anything about myself. I ain't giving her nothing. Just writing the pamphlet down. And she starts dinging things about my life. And I'm like, this is uncomfortable. First off, I spent 37 years trying to hide everything about myself. And now everybody here knows everything about me, apparently. Because after Kyle had his tarot reading, he's like, you need to go get one. I'm like, fuck that. I don't need complete strangers looking into my soul.
Dude, it was fucking bizarre, dude. I don't know why. I just sat down with her, and I was like, I didn't even know she was a legit tarot. She was just so quiet, kind of off by herself. And I was like, you do tarot readings? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, all right, how do we do this? And she's like, ask it a question. And I'm like my mind just shut complete off. And I was like, I got nothing. And she's like, you don't have one single question that you want to ask? And I'm like, no. So I'm just staring at her, and she's like, well, let's see what the cards have to say then. And she just started dropping cards. And she's like, this is old magic. You know, you've been here before. You know the path you're on. She pulled another one. I can't remember exactly what the card was, but she's like, embrace your weirdness. You know, you're not for everybody. And then she pulled the Star Brother card, and I just fucking lost it. I started bawling, and she's like, I want you to know he's here with you today. And I'm like, what the fuck? How is this even possible? I gave you nothing. I didn't even ask a question. And you're just pegging everything out of the park, man. And the whole time prior to that, you can ask Steve, we were talking about going to Cemetery X, which is supposed to be crazy fucked. So I've been looking at means for protection, and I've been putting that out into that ether Like, I need ways to protect myself from these things because I don't want to drag that shit home to my kids. And we got invited to the convention. And then I sit down with her and she's like, hey, like she drew one card and she's like, you are protected in this realm and the next. And I'm like, how in the hell do you know that? It was just like, you can't explain that.
No, that's crazy. That's crazy. Well, I mean, I think a lot of times we're shown at certain points in our lives, you know, especially when we start asking those questions on the spiritual side. I think we're shown things to validate and clarify things for us and to show, you know what, there is a higher power there that's looking out for us. You know, however, you know, a lot of people look at that in a lot of different ways and put a lot of different names and a lot of different titles on it. But I think it's important. And I think that's something that happens for each of us throughout our lifetimes at certain points. I know, and just you guys talking about, you know, that kind of stuff lining up for you to be able to be in that seat and to hear these things and to feel that confirmation of, okay, I've got my protection. You know, that's the same way it's been for us with this show. You know, it's like just things are falling into place and things are happening before we ever even really understand why or how or what's happening. So, I mean, it's a really cool feeling when you get there, but sometimes, just like you were talking about, sometimes it's overwhelming. You know, it's like, where's that coming from? Yep. You know,
it almost makes me wonder because a lot of people ask that shit, right? Especially in the spiritual side, when they pray for shit. They want shit to happen. But it makes me wonder, because like you said with you guys, all of you guys, how things line up. I think now that we're talking about it, it kind of makes me feel like it's because you're all genuine about it. Like, it's not this like forced thing. Like, I need more money. I need my grandma to heal. I need this. It's all this pure genuine energy you're putting out there. Like, hey, I really want to know about this shit. And you guys are just putting that out into the ether. And maybe something registers that and is like, yo, all right, you're knocking. We're going to open the door. So get ready.
Yeah.
Same mantra of seeking you shall find, right? I mean, regardless of what you're seeking, if you spend enough time looking for stuff, even if you don't get definitive answers, you become more perceptive on things that you're looking into. So you become more aware of your surroundings, or more aware of those instances where things are starting to line up, and more aware of when things aren't what you were looking for, and you become more, the word I'm looking for is, but you become more just in tune to what is, you're genuinely seeking and trying to figure out, right? So for me, who pretty, not been shy about it, really pretty consistently strong as a Christian in my faith, like the more I look for God in things, the more I see him, right? And that's the basis, a lot of the principles, the basis of some of my faith, right? Because the more he says seek and we'll find, and that's what I'm supposed to be doing as a Christian anyway, so that's what I'm trying to do. So it's just more and more I look, the more and more I see, and the more I understand, and such the pattern goes. Same concept works for anything, right? I mean,
right.
You look and you put it out there, hey, we like this stuff, we like talking about these things, we like having conversations, I like having conversation with these two boys, and then the people we have come on as well, and we're just a bunch of good old boys, a bunch of idiots who don't know much of anything.
That's right.
We're trying to figure out everything we can and having conversations while we get through it. And I think that's one of the things I've noticed once I started after a couple episodes of, because I've known Justin my whole life. We grew up together. We were having these conversations at 12, 13, 14, 15 years old on buses, on athletic trips, talking about crazy stuff. And our friends are like, hey, you guys are out there. Kind of like we're distant. Like we just kind of went our different ways for a while. Just work and kids and all the things that kind of happened. Well, this podcast kind of popped up, and I saw that he was doing it, and I tuned in an episode, and I hollered at him. I was like, hey, I gotta come talk. Like I just let me come on. I love podcasts anyways. Let me come on and talk for a little bit. And then like it's rekindled this whole, like we were best friends. We hadn't talked to each other in 10 years. And then like it's rekindled this whole thing where it's just like now we're talking to each other 3 or 4 times a week. And then bring Ryan in as well. I get to know him. And it's like I've never met Ryan in person, never shaken his hand, never seen him. But like
We've never met in person.
We feel like we've known you. Like I feel like I've known Ryan for 20 years.
It
That's
was
awesome.
just love at first digital site.
Exactly right.
Technology's wild.
These things have lined up because we've put it out there in the ether, right?
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, what are the odds of that?
Exactly.
What are the odds of all that coming into play for you three to come and you to rekindle an old friendship? And
The exact same thing happened
Yeah.
with me and Kyle. Me
Yeah.
and Kyle didn't talk for probably 3 or 4 years.
yeah,
Just we just walk wide circles around one another.
yep,
And then just out of the blue, boom,
click.
had a conversation, and then this kind of just took off and just ran with it.
Yeah, it's kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It is, but that's awesome to hear about for you guys. You know, it just kind of brought everything together full circle for you, and it seems to be lining out, which is awesome. That's
Definitely.
great. That's fucking positive news, which is what we like.
And like I told Justin, like I don't ever. This never goes anywhere. If nobody ever listens to this, we three get to talk to each other a couple times a week. And just
That's right.
have fun. That's perfectly fine. I'm perfect.
That's right.
Yeah. That's what you gotta. That's what it's always got to be about. Because once you lose that, nothing else. It doesn't matter.
No.
Nothing else matters.
Like
No,
we all.
like, why
I
are you
mean,
doing it? I still look forward. Like I was talking
Yeah.
about the other day. Like I still look forward. We're 3.5 years deep. I still look forward to getting together with him once a week and get behind the microphone and talk. Because we'll get together on Saturdays and we'll probably be we'll be together 8 hours. And
Yep.
like the first 2 hours is like therapy between me and him. You know, going over what's happened in our week.
Yep.
And then we're like, all right, time to podcast.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
do.
it's-
I still enjoy it.
I think Steve's right there, and I think a lot of people need to take that to heart too. Is don't ever let this stop being fun, right? Because I know a lot of people look at it from an angle of business. Like you want this to turn into your main source of income, which we all do. Don't get that shit twisted at all.
It would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be fantastic, but don't ever, ever, ever let it turn into a job. Always take that, have fun with each other. You know, don't forget that shit. I think a lot of people fucking lose sight of that, and then they end up dropping the ball. Is what ends up happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think that's what's important about, this whole thing, which is, it's awesome for you guys, talking about going that length of time too. And of course, obviously me and Lance know how that feel. It's, that's a great thing. But I think that's what's so awesome about doing what we're doing right now. You're constantly building a tribe.
Yep.
Yep.
Constantly. Just like I saw we got those crazy pictures, those engravings on that rock.
Yeah, dude, that shit is weird as hell, man.
He sent that to me. I'm like, what?
Everybody I've talked to has no fucking clue what that is. Nobody knows.
Well, we still haven't even went up there personally and checked it out, which is kind of on me. That's my fault. I've had like crazy busy weekends.
Damn Kaisers.
Kind of.
Okay, it's my fault. All right, it's on me. It's on me.
That's what I told him. I'm like, I need to get up there. I need to see it. Like, I need to put my hands on it. I need to see what the fuck's going on.
I told them I'm going to try to I'm going to video it up there and get that on our TikTok page and then like tag everybody so they help us get Josh Gates to figure out what the hell this is.
I've been tagging Josh Gates on the regular like the last 2 weeks to try to get him to follow me. I'm like, come on.
Listen, that is one of my favorite people in the whole world, man.
He's cool, dude. He is cool.
I love
really
everything
is.
he does.
My TikTok is just hot garbage. And I've been posting posting hot wings and cryptids, and I'm trying to get Adam Richmond, the Man versus Food guy, and Josh Gates to follow me. I'm like, I'm not gonna stop until one of you dudes follow me. So far, it's been a futile effort. But
Yeah.
we're gonna get there. We're gonna
Well,
get there.
I didn't even know we had a TikTok. So
Yeah. I created
Took a
us a
lot-
TikTok one day. I actually forgot about it for a while, and then I was like, "Oh shit, we got a TikTok."
And it takes one good video to just make it just explode. I posted a
Yes.
video of the guide stones getting taken down, then pulling it down with an excavator, and that thing just skyrocketed. It's got like 6 million views now, and I got like 40,000 new followers, and I'm like, what am I even supposed to do now? Like, I'm posting the Hot Wings and Mothman. That's all I got. I don't know why you guys are here. Like, I don't even know what to do with this at this point.
Oh, guys,
think
like a teenage boy losing his virginity. Like, that's all I got, guys. That's all I
That was
got.
it. It's the best thing I got. You guys are about to be real disappointed. So.
Oh shit.
Oh man, that's good. But no, back to what I was talking about, with, sending, I sent those pictures to Kyle and I was like, dude, what is this? But dude, I sent them to like every guest we've ever had on here. You're just constantly building that tribe. You're building these people that you're building relationships. You sit down, you have these conversations. And even though, you're putting that content out there for the world to hear or whatever, like, dude, it's genuine. Like, it's a real thing. Like, you're building a tribe and a tribe that, from what I've found, and I run in a lot of different circles on totally opposite ends of the spectrum, even. But dude, the guests that we've had on here, the conversations that we've had, the audience that we have, and the feedback that we get from them, and the conversations, man, it's all love. Like, it's all love all the time. Like, it's so, you would think I thought coming into this whole thing, well, it's probably a little bit cutthroat. You probably got, certain people trying to do this and do that. And dude, it's not like that. Like, everybody has just been totally, we'll come on there, you come on here, we'll scratch your back, you scratch ours, when you want to, like, it's been totally just genuine compassion and love, and hey, let's help each other out and building a tribe. And that's what I love so much about. That's why I get excited to sit down and record and have guests on, because you're constantly, it's going to be awesome conversation just like this one. But dude, you're constantly building relationships with other people, man. I love it. I love it.
Oh yeah.
We still talk about it now. Like,
and that's how our Discord is. Like, if we need anything, we'll just drop it right in Discord and go, hey guys, we need help figuring this shit out. And it just goes,
it's ridiculous.
They take off and run with it. And everybody is willing to help.
Yeah,
so it's
that's
super awesome, man. Like, the other day I posted a rune. I've been looking for protection runes for tattoos and shit like that. And just so happens that there's a girl in our Discord who's Sweden, and she's like part Viking and shit. And she's like, hey, I can help you make sigils and stuff. And she's like, that is a real protection symbol. And I'm like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, we're like, what is our life?
This is crazy. Who would have thought I'd have been able to drop this in there, and then somebody who's like, yeah, I'm basically a Viking, and I'm like, and she's like, it is real, and I'm like, that's fucking rad.
2 bumpkins from Illinois.
Dude, it's so crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. That really is awesome.
It's cool, dude. It's awesome. And like you said, the fact that everybody's so willing to help, and there's not really many people who are out there trying to put knives in your back. Everybody's looking for the same fucking answer. We're just all on different roads.
Yep.
Which is healthy. It's what we need.
Yeah. There's no reason we shouldn't challenge each other's thoughts.
Exactly.
There's no reason we
with
shouldn't.
a healthy debate,
Yeah, for sure.
And anybody who wants to claim to be a researcher or anything else, it's like you'll hear Wes from Sasquatch Chronicles talk about Bigfoot researchers. It's a cutthroat business. Like, I don't understand that. You guys are all looking for the same guy. So they just shit on each other's theories, and that's why everybody who believes in that looks like a crazy person.
Yeah, the Bigfoot world is cutthroat, man. They eat their own young there. It's bad. Like, you have your flesh and bone biological Bigfoot people, and then you got your spirituality interdimensional Bigfoot people, and those paths do not like to cross
at all.
It is terrible. I'm like, holy shit.
I'm glad we're not smart enough to fit in those circles.
No, we just rotate outside the circles,
Yeah.
That's what we do. We take a long distance orbit just around all of that.
We just hover in the corner of the Bigfoot world.
Yeah, you listen to this crowd and you're like, yeah, I mean, it totally could be. I fully see where you're coming from. Then the other crowd comes in, you're like, yeah, of course. Of course.
Why didn't we think of that?
It could totally be that. And that's how we genuinely are, though. Like, we're not set in stone on like anything.
No, we don't know shit.
No, we approach it from possibility, right? That's essentially what we do, is possibility. Like, could it be this? What are the odds that it is this? We try to use what little logic we have
Very little.
Yeah, but nevertheless, I mean, we try, and like I said, it's working out for us so far until we get abducted or eaten by Bigfoot, whichever one comes first.
But at least I wouldn't have to go back to work, so it wouldn't matter.
Hit me hard, big guy. I don't want to limp away.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get a flesh wound. Take me out. Missing 411, you need a volunteer. Because if that's going to get me out of shoveling coal, I'm all for it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it is. It's weird. It's weird how, those opposing viewpoints in some of these circles just totally attack each other. Well, I mean, even me and Ryan, on a daily basis, I'll bring up a topic or he'll bring up a topic. And sometimes it's just something totally off the wall. And I mean, because we have that relationship, sometimes we're going at it. I mean, like hardcore going at it, like pissing each other off, But then at the end of the day, we walk away with a dap and a hug and like, love you, bro. I'll talk to you tonight or talk to you later. Like, that's the way that it should be. Like, just like Ryan said, that's healthy. It's even if you are getting a little bit heated. I mean, I'm a ginger. I get heated easily.
Just shows that you're passionate about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Look at the last name, okay? I'm not saying he's a Nazi. I'm just saying.
Damn.
Ryan, you can't say that. I was just talking about
canceled. We're canceled now. Both shows.
Game over.
Canceled.
We've been over this. They're not even listening. Listen, our listener loves us. But
Ours too, except for the one that keeps leaving us fucking terrible reviews. Same guy every fucking time.
as long as they're listening.
That's what I said.
No.
If you're saying bad shit about me, my name's still in your mouth, so it still counts.
That's it. Love me, hate me, just talk about me.
Yeah, as long as you're thinking about me.
So one of the episodes I listened to today, before I got into Bledsoe, was the Pascagoula abduction, the last one y'all just put out. And I had a thought, which bugged me, and it's a weird thought, but I have those. But the beautiful alien just had the long fingers and deep throated that guy
down the hatch. I call it.
Said he was his throat was all scratched up, and I asked Justin. I said, "Did you listen to that one?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "So these aliens have a thing the size of a deck of cards that can scan you and do an MRI, but they don't have any fucking fingernail clippers." Like, that's weird to me.
I'm thinking it might not even have been a medical procedure. That might just have been for her, She might just right in there.
Let's see what's in here.
Well, we don't kink shame on this podcast either.
Us either. Whatever they need to do. But on that note, I was looking at illustrations from other people that had abduction experiences where they had kind of chronicled what the beings look like, and a lot of times they'll talk about how long their fingers are, not necessarily the two middle ones, but just long in general.
That's weird.
And I'm like, how in the fuck does this all correlate?
It'd be way
together?
cooler. It'd be way cooler if it was their pinky nail. That was super long.
Yes.
They're just banging coke.
Yeah, just coke aliens. Kinking coke aliens here.
That would be great. It would make a lot more sense. It'd make a lot more sense. They're just trying to party.
They could.
That's it.
It could be.
They got just bright lights in the sky. They're doing weird shit. They're trying to party.
I mean, it doesn't sound as bad as we think it is.
Just putting it out there.
Sounds like a rave. It's just a total rave in the sky.
Yep. It doesn't sound near as bad when you put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
My mind just went elsewhere. Like, she's forced to go in there with her long ass fingers because only females have them. There's cameras everywhere, and there's some nasty old aliens just jerking it
Jesus,
behind the screen while she's just
down the hatch.
It's fetish now.
Oh yeah, that's somebody's into that somewhere. You know that. Right?
Guaranteed. People like feet pictures. What the fuck? That's
you've just started a whole new corner of the internet. Right?
It's there.
There'll be 2 animes tomorrow.
Wow.
Maybe I don't want to be on this planet anymore.
So let's see. There was oh man, what was the other one I was thinking of? Oh, another thought I had So when we're talking about the New Orleans reptilians,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm talking about those guys kind of being not so great. But along with Mr. Bledsoe and several other encounters, the ones that I would correlate with the Greys kind of seem like they're always trying to say we're helping out, you know. So what if there is like this reptilian thing that's trying to destroy the planet, but these Greys are being shunned by, you know, now they're starting to say there's spacecraft and everything, but forever it was a stigma to see these things. What if these guys were like the guys bringing like information, like you don't need to be doing this, we're here to help.
I'm trying
straight up documentary.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what,
because we watched the documentary, and by the end of that, that is essentially the conclusion that is supposedly being made, is that there are these beings that are trying to come here and enlighten us, like to try to give us free energy, to just basically say, hey guys, you are on the way wrong path here, and we are willing to help you. But because the military industrial complex and the powers that be are so powerful, they're like, nah, we're making way too much fucking money
Yeah,
to
no
be
free
giving shit out for
yeah.
free. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's why they've pushed nuclear weapons so much. They think that they're going to go hard in the paint with nukes against these beings trying to come and help us. That's one of the theories out there.
That's
and
I in large agree with.
Dude, why wouldn't it? I mean, like we've talked about, if there are asshole aliens out there, there's got to be some good ones, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just it has to be.
And I have heard theories exactly what you said, that like there are peaceful races that are trying to help us, to maybe even prepare us for the ones that aren't so peaceful heading our way, and we're just lumping them all together as holy shit, it's aliens.
Yeah, you know? I mean, at this point, we don't know what the fuck they are and what their intentions are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Stardust Ranch. It's like the whole thing there, you know.
Stardust.
Yeah, Stardust is.
It's awesome.
I wish I could buy Stardust Ranch.
That would be great.
That's my. If I win this,
if
I win
getaway.
this Mega Millions tonight, I'm buying motherfucking
I got tickets too.
Stardust Ranch.
Dude,
awesome.
that is so weird. You guys mentioned that. I was at the store earlier. This guy was buying a Mega Millions ticket. I step up and the girl's like, "You want a Mega Millions too?" I was like, "Not unless you're going to sell me the winner." And she goes, "Well, I can't do that." I was like, "Why, did you buy one?" She goes, "I had to. I printed them. I printed the damn things off from." So, I was on my way home. I was thinking, guaranteed, I hope she wins because it was a forced mistake and she works, you know, at the freaking Quick Mart.
That would be pretty epic.
It was that exact.
Awesome.
It was that exact moment that he transferred from the timeline where he would have won to this timeline where he's not going to win.
That did cross my mind, Steve. Honestly, when I got home, I told my wife, I said, "I think I missed the sign."
Probably.
Damn it!
Damn you, CERN.
There it is.
Justin, I'm
CERN.
sorry. I keep talking a lot.
Hey, that's what we do here.
This is I just try to, these ideas keep coming back. So on the Bledsoe thing.
just let it fly. Just let
Go,
it fly.
man.
So on the Bledsoe thing, I'm going to go forward in the third part when he was talking to Barbara, and he was talking about, or you had mentioned, Kyle, that he got to a point where he used to hunt and everything, and like, don't even kill a bug.
Yeah.
Like, my wife can tell you, Justin and everybody else can tell you, like, I've been on that tangent for a while. Like, these dudes are just trying to live their lives, you know, except ticks.
Yeah, fuck ticks.
Fuck those guys.
Fuck
They're
ticks.
like, you know,
I'm with you.
they might as well be the Scoutmaster Kevins of the world. You know, but anyway, you know, that kind of blew me away on that. So in 2007, I had this accident, right? I worked on a gas drilling rig. I was working the table. The head came down on the elevators, and a 1/2-inch cable crushed my head. I don't have an eyelid like over here. All this got crushed in, everything. when I walked over to the drill steel and leaned against it and just kind of slumped down. And I remember looking at the drill operator as he was yelling at me. And this just occurred to me today, Justin. So this is why you've never heard this before. So don't get mad at me.
Okay, gotcha.
But I know for a fact I could see that guy's face and him like trying to hold my head up. I seen every bit of that, but he swears my eyes were out and my head was down. So on my way home today, I was like, holy shit, did I have one of those out of body experiences and didn't realize it? Because, a 1/2-inch cable just cut my head to pieces, crushed my orbital around my eyes, shoved it in my sinus cavity, all kinds of shit. But I got me thinking, did I have an out of body experience? And am I kind of like Chris Bledsoe? Am I chosen because these motherfuckers keep bringing me back? Because I got run over by a tractor trailer when I was in the military in Asheville, Alabama. Rolled like 8 times and then landed upside down in a river and didn't even have a scratch on me.
That's crazy.
And then I got hit in the head with the cable. Multiple car accidents. But I'm just thinking, are these guys, am I chosen? Like, all right, I need to talk. Y'all need to come get me so we can chat this over. Shit's got to be better than this.
I feel that.
Oh, man.
I mean, it would make sense that you probably had an out of body experience because that had to have been a lot of trauma to hit you in the face like that.
Yeah, that's.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no just flesh wound there. That's full on. That most likely probably should have killed you.
Yeah, it was. They were attached to these elevators that pick drill steel up. Those elevators are like 30 pounds, and they fell from 22 feet. So if those had hit me, you wouldn't be talking to me today. But it was the winch line that was attached to that, and it kind of whipped, and that's what did all that damage. But yeah, I just thought about that today because I remember. Because I told Michael, I was like, dude, I could see you when you were shaking me and holding my head up. He's like, no, you couldn't. He goes, your head was down, your eyes were closed. But I remember having that conversation and I was like, dude, I was looking right at you. You didn't have to get so panicked. Because from what I was told, I had a cut above my eyebrow that I needed to get stitches in. They didn't want me to freak out. But I do remember talking to myself, like, why can't I move? Why am I not standing up? You got to get up. Holy shit, I'm paralyzed. No, fuck that. I'm getting up. And then when I did stand up, I started passing out. but yeah, I think I actually had an out-of-body experience right there. I mean, I didn't go very far. That was a waste. But I went like 2 feet.
Fuck that one up.
Yeah. That's my luck, man. Don't even realize what's going on. That's
okay, but I think that kind of goes back to 2 things that we've already talked about here tonight. That goes back to you were talking about reality or our perception of things coming from our pineal gland, right? You just took a hard flipping hit right to the pineal gland pretty much. I mean, it's literally in between your eyes. So what if that trauma to that done something and you were able to, even though you weren't seeing with your eyes, you were seeing what was going on there. And then number 2, you talking about, being special, being chosen, they keep bringing you back or whatever. It goes back to the whole thing Kyle was talking about with just protection. Is there something out there? And I have my own beliefs, obviously, of course, just like Lance was saying, I haven't been shy about on this show. I'm strong in my faith, a follower of Jesus Christ, Christian. Obviously, I feel like, it's God, it's Christ that protects me and the things that I'm doing and my family. But it's that higher power there that's got its hand on you and kind of guiding you along the way, watching out in these certain things. Because, we're going to screw up. We're going to have accidents. We're going to be stupid. And and all this different stuff. And I think we all probably have points in our lives that we look at and think, I probably shouldn't be here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What if when that happened and your pineal gland activated, what if it's only been like 3 seconds and all of this is what you're experiencing while you're still...
Hey, Steve, why don't you shut up?
You're gonna
I don't
wake up.
normally talk to guests like this, but
You're gonna wake up. There's gonna
He
be
just reaches over and exits out of the interview. He's like,
Just deletes
done.
it. No Holosky Podcast. None of this even exists.
holy shit. I hope
Dude,
it's
would that-
real.
Would that not be nuts, though? I mean, that would be so insane, man.
I think
Would
that's why
would that make us like conscious figments of his imagination?
Yeah.
Cool.
We're
Cool.
we're the pineal beings.
Awesome.
In the alternate
Technically,
universe.
I'm having a conversation with myself right
Holy
Yeah.
crap. Can I start a group chat right now called the Pineal Being?
now. And you
Let's
guys
run with
are
it.
all my
Let's run
different
with it.
personalities.
He's, he's gonna wake up and just be
hell.
like, "What the fuck just happened?" I remember being a podcast host. I remember all this. I lived this whole life, and now
I'm going to be
Back here on the
pissed if this is a
rig.
10-minute DMT trip.
Dude,
Oh, man.
that's so crazy. And it's so wild to think about, man. Like, what if? You know, what if? Like, we don't know.
No.
We don't know.
No.
That's why, Steve said that and just trying to get it right, but it really hit hard. Like, wait a minute, what if I wake up like something?
I still think about that shit sometimes. Like, what if I am like, what if all this is just a figment of my imagination, or just some like synapses firing off in my brain, and someday it's just gonna stop doing it, and then I'm just gonna go back to whatever shitty life I had before, just magically warp back into the one I was trying to escape from.
I was gonna say life was probably pretty fucking shitty
Yeah,
then,
this-
because our
this
life
is my
isn't all.
positive.
It's not that much better.
This is the better version.
Life really sucks.
Listen, this can't be a dream. I can dream better than that.
That's what I tell myself. If I'm a figment of somebody's imagination, fucking do better. You
Yes.
know? At least, like you said, at least make me successful or good looking. Because right now I got neither, and you just give me something to work with.
I'm the NPC.
Man,
Kyle
that is-
brought up NPCs the other day, and now I'm like constantly like on the lookout. I'll
was
see
we
somebody.
talking about?
We were outside when you were
Oh,
smoking.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And
that was the next
I'll see
episode.
somebody walking down the street, and I'm like, that's definitely
Oh, fuck yeah.
definitely an NPC. Have like a Tasmanian devil hat on and like jorts and just cruising. I'm like, there's no way that's a real fucking person. There's no damn way.
Dude, I thought that about this old man down at the end of the road. He was mowing his lawn, but he was coming towards the road. I look up and I'm like, that's the shittiest robot I've ever seen. Like, that's the shittiest CGI I've ever seen.
Yeah, how funny that would have been if you would have approached him and tried talking to him and he responded and he's like, that was the shittiest dialogue I've ever heard. Like, that is the fakest shit. Like, you are the worst NPC that's ever been created.
Somebody's on an Xbox controller being like trying to figure out the right response.
You go up to him and all of a sudden,
God.
hello, Dr. Bravestone. Welcome to Jumanji. Wait, what?
What the hell? I hope that's life. I hope that's what we're experiencing right now.
I wouldn't be that mad.
That's the only thing that can explain some shit. It's gotta be a simulation.
Look, no joke. Like I've said on here, I'm strong in my faith, but there have been plenty of times, especially in the last 3, 4, 5 years, that I've been driving or with my wife, doing something or what, and look over at her and be like, yep, this has got to be a simulation. Like there's no reason in the world that should have just happened. Like, I mean, how do you explain it?
I have those quite often.
And I think that kind of goes along. Well, man, I told you guys I wouldn't talk about Egress.
That's all right.
But it kind of goes into that too, dude, because, okay, you look at a lot of different things. I told you guys that we've kind of been working on this project, and, it's like when things start going good, a lot of weird crap will start happening. And honestly, I just got to take a step back and be like, nope, I'm bouncing out, I'm checking out for a minute. But you see the same kind of things, like, with Hellier, which is right next door to us. I mean, literally, it's probably what, guys, 30, 45 minutes from.
Oh, yeah.
If that.
And that's just because we live, and everything's a back road. It's literally, you hear a country mile. there's a reason they say that. like Hellier is right across the mountain and right across the river. I mean, it's, that's where it's at. But you see it with that. You see it with, like, Nathan Isaac and doing Pennyroyal and a lot of the connections and stuff that he's made there, and all these different things that just fall in place. And it kind of gets me to a point of, which I do believe that there are entities out there, and we've talked about it on this show a lot. I believe that there are entities out there, good and bad, dark and light. And I believe that both of them, that we're constantly in a spiritual battle, constantly. No matter what you believe, no matter where your faith or your beliefs lie, whatever, I believe that each and every one of us are in a constant state of spiritual warfare. However you want to look at that. But with that, I think at the same time, you have, you're constantly having to discern, where is this coming from? Is this good, or is this of evil? Is this of dark, or is this of light? So I think a lot of these things, it's like, what entity out there is leading the charge in this, in the steps that I'm taking right now? What entity and what's their intent behind the steps that I'm taking? And honestly, I've listened to everything that you guys, every appearance that you've made talking about Egress Industries, all that stuff, and the whole time, which I know it's nuts. It's nuts. So, and you guys don't have to get all the way into it. The audience out there, look, go check these guys out on their show, Holosky Podcast, The Confessionals, Tony's show, Sam's show, Tinfoil Hat. Go check out any of these. I think just recently on Chiller Queen, is that what it's called?
Yep.
Talked about it on there. Go check out these guys' story and this Egress Industries, because it's mind blowing. It literally is. It's like a real life, straight up, super terrifying mystery that I couldn't imagine being in the middle of.
Before he goes on, Phil, can I just interject for a second, JK, just to stop you?
Go ahead.
When you first heard your all's Egress Industries stories, I was listening to it as I was outside working. I don't remember. It's been a while now, and I stopped what I was doing. And I was like, these two son of a guns are the best fiction storytellers I have. And that's what, you got halfway through. That's what I thought. I was like, these boys, they need to be in Hollywood right now, pumping this story out. It needs to be on Netflix or whatever. And then the more I listened, I was like, hey, these boys, they're not lying. Like, this is crazy. Of all the paranormal crazy podcasts I've listened to, it's been a ton. You guys are one of the story that you're in the middle of, and the whole it just thinking about it now, still can imagine being in the middle of it, like you boys are. Just thinking about it still raises the hair on my neck, and still gives me chills and a shiver. It was by far one of the, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So you guys, if you haven't heard them talk about that, you have got to go and listen. Like I said, I'm halfway through and I stopped. I said, there's no way this is real. This is a great story. These guys are doing a fantastic job telling. I'm in hook, line, and sinker. And then I was like, yeah, this is real. They're not BSing anything. These old boys are just telling you how it is, and it is a nutso story. Right.
And with that, dude, and with that, like, that's what I'm trying to, that's what the avenue I was trying to take there. Like, where is that coming from? You know what I mean? Like, I'm a firm believer in even people, organizations, all these different things, being able to being influenced by whatever these entities are, whatever you want to look at them as. So even in this case, in this scenario, for all of these things to work out like they did, for you guys to be recording like we are right now, nothing's out there, and to be getting messages from this whatever it is, this organization, saying, hey, tell Holosky we said hello, and throwing in all these Crowley quotes and like, dude, that blows my mind. It's like, what kind of power, and that's what I'm going to call it. What kind of power is behind that to be able to, now look, we all know that these intelligence agencies and all this different stuff can, they can tap in and listen to everything that we're saying right now. There's nothing we can do about it. But like, that seems like a long way to go for an intelligence agency, and not speaking, anything bad. Like I've said, I love you guys and y'all have blown up, but still, what does an intelligence agency right now have, to benefit from and to look into you guys?
And that's what it was even back then, because back then our listener base was local, confined.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing.
Like not hardly anything. So I'm like, why in the fuck would they be like messing around with us? Like, we don't have anything to offer, like,
no, other than being the next test subject.
And I don't know if it was because like maybe we went knocking on their door, kind of, because I found the flyer on Reddit and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna call it on the show. And then it just spiraled so far out of control that it was I don't know.
Like we said on Avery's podcast, the Chiller Queen, like it's so hard to think logically when you're being barraged from 40 different fucking sides all at once, and that's why I even said it. I'm like, imagine how I would have felt if I didn't have you to confide in, because there was that time when I wasn't going to release the episode. And then I was at work one day, I think it was that Monday, and I'm like, all right, dude, let's fucking, I need to mentally break this down with you. We have to, like, I have to look at this with logic. I'm like, so what are the odds of this? And he's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's exactly right. And we started dissecting the little bit that we had right off the rip. And I'm like, okay, all right. I'm in the same camp. All right.
Well, you know what, though? With the same.
Dude, how crazy is that?
What's what?
You guys there?
You get out for a second.
Yeah, y'all cut out. That's freaking as soon as we
fucking time.
That's fucking weird.
As soon as they start talking about
shit, I just realized that.
That's weird.
As soon as we start talking,
I was just talking. I was talking, and
I just
looked up. I just looked up, and I saw your face froze.
That's crazy.
You know what though? You say
fucking time.
That's fucked up. Like, I have goosebumps.
We all say that. Who are we? Just these little podcasts that the intelligence services will be watching us.
Well, we knew.
But who was Chris Bledsoe for the government to do a smear campaign on the Discovery Channel? I bet he didn't.
I'll tell you who.
That.
I'll tell you who, and I'll tell you why they just cut out right there, because they're people that are getting really close to the truth.
Yeah,
that's not the first time we've been told that.
I can't fucking believe that.
I can't either, because I'll be 100% honest with you. Like, when we was on Tripoli's show and it cut out on us like that, me and Steve were pissed because we thought, because Steve's like, I'm going to go to Kyle's house.
Because my internet's shit at my house.
Yeah, we're going to use.
I'm like, we're just going to go out here.
Your internet, and then we leave, and as we're leaving, I see a cable repairman down the road, and I'm like, motherfucker. But then I got to thinking about it. I even brought it up to Steve. I go, what are the fucking minuscule odds that dude cut the fucking internet the very second I dialed that number? What are the odds of that? I'm not saying it's not possible. It could have happened. Absolutely could have happened. But what are the odds?
Yeah.
It's so, like, when we were talking to Avery on Chiller Queen, as soon as we started talking about it, her computer went down.
Yeah.
And I mean, she just unplugged it, but the timing was like,
oh, that's fucked up. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Every single time we fucking talk about it, it's stupid.
Yeah, because that would play to your higher power theory there. That, there's like I don't want to use divine, but there's that intervention. Dude, I don't know. Like I said, there was a lot of things, a lot of fucking things that we ran through mentally and emotionally when it comes to that subject. I don't even know if it's over yet. And then like I've said a million times, talking to Charlie about it was probably one of the most mind-numbing things I've ever done, because he just, like, he played everything off so subtly, and I'm like, how does someone of your intelligence and what you know, how is that subtle to you? Like, you should be looking at me going, you're crazy. And you're not.
Yeah.
You're just going, okay. Like, that totally makes sense. And you're like, oh, great. That's scary.
I hate so much that they just cut us off. Like, I still think about it. Like, I text them Sunday, like, hey, I'm still here, still waiting for you to give me a fucking address, anything, just give me something. I need to travel across the country to fucking knock on your door, just give me something. And it drives me insane. Like, it, for a while, I know I've said it a million times on the show, but I was like borderline obsessed with it. I was like texting it every day, calling it every day, like, just don't leave us hanging, you know, because we put so much time and energy into chasing whatever this. It's like the Holosky unicorn, you know, whatever Egress Industry is. We're just constantly chasing that dragon, and for them to just cut us off, I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, just give me something. Every day I check the phone, and every day there's nothing. Just disappointment, Egress.
Nothing.
Man, Ryan, what if that's what you did? Maybe you slipped into, he just said chasing the dragon.
I thought the same fucking thing. God damn.
Maybe you slipped. Maybe you.
Shit.
I'm
sorry, guys.
Are you Egress Industries?
I don't
Was that
remember.
you the whole time?
I don't remember.
Egress Industries is just part of his pineal gland.
Bro,
dude.
my trip's done. It's over.
Oh my gosh. Egress
Oh,
Industries
making
made the medication that I'm on right now, dreaming all this up.
It's all coming together
Oh my
now.
gosh. You guys were the ones to bring that to my attention. Justin, before you go in too deep, I still have Bledsoe comments, okay? There's still shit I want to talk about. I am enraptured by
I
this
told you guys.
story.
I told you guys, an hour in.
No,
An
we're
hour
good.
in.
Listen,
Let
go
it fly, baby. Let it fly.
listen,
It's gonna
I'm not
get
gonna
weird.
lie. I'm not gonna lie. They're hitting hard. But
He's about to
Okay.
open his pineal gland, isn't he? He's about to go
I'm
into a
saying.
different dimension.
I'm trying like hell, man. Oh, side note, ever since I found that note on June 12th that I found dragons, so the next couple of days go by, and then I start getting these freaking flashes in the corner of my eye, right?
Yeah, that is right.
And I still see them right now. Like, all the time in my peripheral, I see like half of a halo flash. I went and had blood work done. The eye doctor took 4 separate pictures of my eye. There's no separation of my retina. So nobody has any answer of why all of a sudden I'm just seeing flashes everywhere. I told Justin, I was like, I think I have enough gummies in me that I'm always in between dimensions, or I found dragons, but it was the spirit of one and it possessed me and it's trying to see every once in a while. I don't know.
I like that explanation.
Yeah, it could happen, I guess.
I dig
And
it.
again, karmic effect. Enter the dragon. I mean, there you go.
Just saying.
You like Bruce Lee, bro.
I was expecting Bruce Lee powers. I do not have a great judo job, but so back to Bledsoe. One of the things that first popped into my mind when you guys were talking about the double wide that they pulled up on, and the front door was open, the TV was on, blah, 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 but nobody was there. And then what was it, the next day or the day after, they went back and they're like, dude, where were you? They're like, we were watching TV. But just before that, Chris was missing time. So who's to say these guys were like missing time? They were abducted as well, you know. That was the first thing popped in my mind.
Oh, for sure. Definitely could have happened.
I also like the theory you guys went with, that this is where the children go to play, but they have the protection, those orbs, and then that was just portraying that double wide.
Like
Maybe.
a screen memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy doesn't even know anybody that lives around there. It was just screen memory right in there.
Fuck, that'd be terrifying.
And I've been digging into some UFO reports where they're basically stating that like these beings and the UFO themselves like hypnotize us almost. I read one report where this guy was at his friend's house and he's sleeping in a car out in front of his friend's house. I don't know the whole context behind it, but he's asleep in this car. As he's looking out over this hilltop, he sees this light and it just starts to move back and forth, kind of like a pendulum, like hypnotists would do with a pocket watch or some shit. And he's like, and as I see this light, it starts to flash every time it like hits the end of the arc. It'll flash, it'll flash, it'll flash. And then he says, I remember being super scared, and then I wake up 2-3 hours later in the backseat of the car, and he can't remember anything that's happened. And I found another report of a police officer, motorcycle cop. He was out patrolling, and his office got a call from his cell phone, and it was just static noise, nothing. So they went out to look for him. They find his motorcycle. It's laid over in the road. They can't find him anywhere. His sidearm is taken apart. His radio is taken apart, and his cell phone's there. They find him the next day, about 24 hours later. I think it was 10 or 11 miles down the road, naked. As he starts to recall, he said that he saw this light in the sky, pulled over to see what it was, and I think through hypnosis, he said he encountered these beings. And he said that they almost hypnotized him. He said he pulled his sidearm on them because they were scared. And he said he just immediately started taking his sidearm apart, take his handgun apart, threw it on the ground. He said, I went for my radio to call for help. He's like, as soon as I got my radio, I started taking it apart, threw it on the ground. He said, I got my cell phone up to call. And he said, I just immediately wiped my cell phone clean. But he had enough wherewithal in his brain that he called his department's number. When they examined the cell phone, that was the only thing in the cell phone, was just where he had dialed the number before he disappeared. So it's almost like these screen memories in this missing time might be tied into some sort of like hypnosis kind of thing that they're doing. The more I like look into it, the more it's like it kind of makes sense from all these people that have these big chunks of time missing, where you're just hypnotized into whatever you want them doing, because so many people don't remember like their abduction experiences until they have regression or hypnosis to bring it back.
Yeah, that's insane. That's a crazy story, like super crazy.
I found evidence photos of his motorcycle and shit laid over with his sidearm taken apart and his radio taken apart. It's going to be a future episode. I'm working on it. So,
God, that's nuts, dude. That
little Holosky preemptive teaser there.
Yeah, little teaser, especially for you heel folk out there. No, man, that kind of. I mean, it's not quite that well. I don't know. It's crazy in its own way. But me and Ryan, actually, we were staying at a campground that's local to us. You know, I've got a camper. I just go put it up. This last month, I just paid for a month and go there, you know, every few days whenever I want to camp out for a night or two, whatever. Take the family, you know, just have a good time. But we were down there, and the awesome thing about camping too, you know, it's a lot like this. You get down there and people you don't even know, you just you know, strike up conversations, and by the end of a few days, you're family. You know, I mean, you're sharing meals and sharing all these different stories and stuff. Well, to make a long story short, we were talking to this family, and we're going to have a couple of them on as guests, you know, in the future. But there's a young girl, and she started telling a couple little stories, you know, like, you know, I think my house is haunted because of this and that. And I mean, they were cool little stories. You know, I was listening to her, and she starts talking about having night terrors. And I was like, well, explain your night terrors. You know, what do those look like? You know, what's going on with them? Well, first she starts talking about, you know, just your usual sleep paralysis, you know, pretty much just the straight from the textbook sleep paralysis, that she wakes up, she can't move. She sees like a shadow figure in the corner. And then sometimes it's an old hag, like literally an old hag, that will come and jump on her chest and hold her down. Just classic sleep paralysis. She said, but then other times, and this is where it gets crazy, and I don't want to go like crazy in detail because I want her to be on to tell it. But she was talking about how people in masks that cover their entire face, but they're really tall and have really long limbs, will cut holes in her ceiling at night. And she says, you know, she wakes up and there's no holes. So it has to be some form of, but they cut holes in her ceiling at night. Dude, it gets worse. They bring her up through the hole and they take her to a place that looks like a hospital room and they do surgery. They never take their masks off. They never speak, but they do surgery, and surgery's as bad as like amputation. And then they make her do things like in her, these night terrors that she was talking about. These beings make her do things for them. Like, and you know, there's not a whole lot of communication there. She says that she just understands. She just knows what they want, which is super weird to me. And I even asked her, I says, like telepathic? And she said, no, I just know what they want. She said this went on every Thursday, which is crazy.
What?
This went on every Thursday for, I think, 4 years, somewhere around 4 years. I think she said like ages 8 to 12 or 9 to 13, somewhere in that range. And she strapped this bomb. She said that it didn't look like a bomb that we would have or like you would see in a movie here. She said, but whenever she had it on her chest, she knew that it was a bomb. And she had to walk into this place that she didn't recognize, and it was full of people. She said she couldn't see any of the people's faces. She couldn't see what they looked like. She just said it was a large, she said, like a stadium full of people. She said, and I walked in and I knew what I had to do. This bomb went off. I woke up and it's never happened since. So it's almost like
She
20
died
and
on
back.
that timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought
almost.
20 and back.
That's exactly
where
what
my
I
brain
thought.
went.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought when she was saying it. And you know,
It's
I was
the right
trying.
age. It's the right age.
Hell yeah, yeah. What?
And like, dude, when she was telling me this, you know, I was trying to be as calm and cool and just listen to her story without throwing in all my thoughts and beliefs and cutting her off me. But that's all I was thinking was, this is like a classic 20 and back scenario. You know, these are like abduction cases that she's working some kind of job for these entities, these beings. And then when they were done with her, they were done with her. Like,
No, either way, bare minimum, they're abductions. Bare minimum.
oh yeah,
Without question.
Yeah,
Like the way she
for
describes
sure.
all of it, it's fucking abductions. Like it's aliens. 100%. That's where I'm at. Aliens.
I've already made up my mind. I'm gonna do what Chris did and just go up on the mountain here and like just talk to the sky and be like, listen,
Oh, he's ready.
I want to meet
He's
him.
ready.
That's the first thing before you even got into that story, you're talking about camping. I'm like, hold up. You guys are right down the road from Hellier in the middle of Appalachia. I'm like, you need to stay the fuck out of the woods. That's the first thing you need to do. Stop going
can't.
camping.
Steve, we can't stay out of the woods. We are literally in the woods.
we are the woods.
My
We
house-
are
my-
411.
My house is sitting on about an acre plot right now, and all around me is woods. Literally, tree line.
Just full of wendigos.
It's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's
I
awesome.
mean, there has to be a reason that Cherokee people would come here and farm, but they would not live.
Yeah.
They called it the dark and bloody ground.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I would take heed to that.
Somehow we've made it this long. I don't
I'm
know.
thinking that's a red flag. The whole dark and bloody thing,
Yeah.
probably a red flag.
Yeah.
You said it a ton of times here too on this podcast. Like whatever reason here in Appalachia, whatever the case may be, it could be the demons, it could be the devil, it could be old ancient Indian spirits, or whatever the case is. We think, and I'm a full believer of this, that the veil is thinner here than it is in a lot of the places. I think that's why you hear a lot. We've got a lot more Bigfoot sightings and ancient pan rituals and just granny witching magic that rolls into the Cherokee little people, that rolls into the fairies. And I just think that whatever the case may be, that's one of the things we're always talking about and just trying to figure out. But I think, and fully believe the veil is just thinner here. That for whatever reason, that's why we're a little more susceptible to.
We are like dead center of 37 parallel.
Well, I mean, I could fully get behind that because there's definitely. I mean, and then to be fair, there would be more than one hotspot on the planet. You know, because ancient Indians talk about mountains. Like you were telling me that time where rocks ate people.
Yeah.
People would fall into the rocks, and then there's also the running theory, to go back to CERN, that CERN is trying to crack the veil. Yeah, because there's people believing that CERN, they're trying to open the door to hell, essentially.
That's what I believe.
Or even, it may not even be hell. It could be a loose description, you know, but it could be just cracking into
somewhere we're not supposed to be.
Exactly.
The upside down, that looks a lot like hell.
Yeah.
Listen,
like I said, it's cool. It's cool to look through the window and just kind of check it out. But when you turn that window into a door,
we got problems.
Other things can come through that door.
That's it, man. That's it. It's just like I was looking out in the window yesterday, and there's a giant black bear standing out in my driveway, right? And as long as I was looking through the window,
like cool nature,
I was fine. Like, look at that big thing. That's awesome. Go get him, dogs. Go get it. But now, if I was standing in the midst of that giant black bear that I was seeing,
with you open the door to the bear.
Yeah, not so cool.
Yeah.
I think
that's it.
I think I was doing research on Max Spears, which I haven't finished yet, but he was kind of a big proponent that what we think and label as alien abductions are not alien. They're governmental abductions.
I've heard that as well.
And we're just the people who experience them. It's either so traumatic that they block it out. Like how bad would it be that the better scenario is something from outside the fucking galaxy takes you and does experiments on you, as opposed to, you know, the government. But he said 99% of what we as the public think of alien abductions are governmental abductions.
Dude, that wouldn't surprise me for a second.
No,
I could totally.
It still lead credence to real aliens, because he didn't classify as 100%.
No.
Yep. Right. So who's to say that in these little fucking trade-offs that we've had throughout history, they didn't just trade off fucking knowledge? Like, hey, you guys want to learn how to do cool stuff? Here's how you do cool stuff.
I was
That's not so cool for everybody else.
And you hear so much about like they're cutting a hole in the ceiling. That just sounds like a portal.
Yeah.
You know, just opening a portal. I was watching a documentary
on
this town in New York. I can't fucking remember what it is, but they're having all of these.
You were telling me about this
UFO sightings. Just they're videotaping them, and they're just everywhere. Well, when this is going on, an uptick in paranormal activity started happening too. People started like having stuff moved around their house and all this shit. And there was one woman who had an excessive amount of paranormal activity in her house. Things were getting moved, things were getting broken. And she said she was getting ready to go into her basement and do laundry. And she says as she walked down, she saw essentially a portal open in her basement. And there were two guys in there. And they acknowledged her, but it was like an oh shit moment. Like we're not supposed to, she's not supposed to see us. She said they stepped right back into the portal and it closed up. So
what?
Yeah,
that was a documentary, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was on Amazon Prime. If I find it, I'll send it to you guys. It's just like what? I don't even know. What is?
Were they human guys in the portal?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Like,
that's like
what? Listen, that's what I was going to say earlier. I done forgot, and I just now got this back, Justin. So just stop. So what I was thinking was when we were talking smack on CERN earlier, if we truly believe aliens can be interdimensional and travel like that, don't you think when like the first alien being was like, hey, I think we can travel different dimensions, people were like, oh my God, you're going to let all this stuff through. Like, what if we're like that close to interdimensional travel?
It's going to be terrible.
Yeah, I don't think we're ready for
It
that.
seems like it worked out for the aliens. Like maybe we'll find some dumb people like us, like dumber than us, and we'll be like, "Hey, yeah, we're your god. We created you. Actually, we just found you 5 minutes ago, but yeah, we created you."
That's what I said about the Bledsoe entities, man. I'm like, people spend all this time praying and, you know, telling God their fears and their hopes and just sending it out into the ether. Like I said, what if it doesn't reach who you want it to reach? What if it reaches somebody else? And then they got all this information about what you're scared of, what you believe in, what your hopes are. All they have to do is come in and play that card, and you're gonna be like, holy shit, that's a holy being right there. It knows everything that I'm afraid of, and it's playing to that, and it's playing to all my my wishes and my hopes and how I want my life to play out, and they're gonna look really fucking good. Just sitting there telling us all that shit, you know, like, hey, you know, if you do this and this and this, then everything's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So let's say Chris wasn't a devout Christian like he is. Say he was pagan or whatever. He's like, oh, these things look like Valkyrie to me, you know, something like that. I believe it would be from the perspective of the experiencer.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean,
bleeding over, and they're playing into that. Just I agreed heavily when you were throwing that theory out there, Steve.
It made me question a lot of things, like just because I never heard of the case before, and I was going off what the research that Kyle had done, and as it kept hitting and kind of changing the narrative as it went, as they saw him like call out to Jesus as a defense, and they kind of started changing their narrative and playing to that whole side of him being a devout Christian, you know, saying, you know, you aren't the creator, I believe in God. And they're like, oh, do you now? So, and then they're like, well, we can do that too, you know, we can be God. And then all of a sudden it takes this whole devout holy turn where the lady and the light and everything is all this positivity. And I'm like, man, that was kind of fucking convenient, you know. You found out this guy's like the pillar of his life, you know. He turned to God in probably the most terrifying moment of his entire existence. And these beings are like, yeah, we should probably play into that because that seems pretty important to this dude.
Because you even heard, I think his son or Chris speak on it, how even the Vatican says don't touch these things. Like, stay the fuck away from them.
That's what I'm.
And like the way my mind would operate is that if these were divine beings, the church would be like, yes, embrace them.
Yeah, because
this proves our fucking
exactly.
We're right.
Exactly,
we are right. And then it just imagine like if they ran it like a business, then Catholicism or Christianity or whatever would fucking skyrocket because everybody would go, oh my God, they're right. They've been right the whole time. We need to get right with Jesus. You know what I mean? Like it, but why would the Vatican oppose that?
Yeah. Which I don't know. I feel like the Vatican, they know
they're the greatest establishment on the planet.
I always think I see the memes like if you could break into one place and have an hour to go through the information, where would it be? Area 51. I'm like, I'm going to the fucking basement of the Vatican.
Absolutely, first thing.
That's where
going down. I wouldn't even know where to start. I'll just be books like a madman.
Yeah. Just trying to hoard them home, like back to the hollow cave,
stuffing them in my pants, up my shirt. Gosh, yeah. But I mean, I have my own views on a lot of that. I think that has been going on for, these guys have to hear it all the time. I think that's been going on since the beginning of mankind. I go back to the entire Genesis 6 thing with fallen angels and think that, we had angels that were literally thrown out of heaven by God. And when they came to earth, they said, okay, you know what? You did this to us. You oppose us. We hate you. So your creation, your children that you're going to create here, we are going to be gods to them on this earth. They're going to look at us as gods. And I think that's, you can match up almost every culture and civilization all throughout human history. And you just switch some names around, but you have all of these these gods that line up in this entire pantheon and all these polytheistic religions and cultures and civilizations. You just change some names, but they're the same gods. They have the same characteristics. They do the same things. They have the same stories. They teach the same things. I feel like that's been going on since the beginning of mankind. And I feel like, just like Steve said right there, these things learn about somebody and they play into that perspective. They play into your beliefs and your thoughts and your values, and they're going to use you and get to you however they can. And that's automatically going to be, okay, it's like, you said Wendigo earlier. Well, some crazy ravenous beast isn't going to stand at the tree line and growl at you, and you just approach them and be like, oh yeah, here I am. They're going to mimic a loved one. They're going to sound like a baby crying. They're going to do what they can do to make you become vulnerable to them. And I think that's been going on for all human history. I think it's still going on today. I think that it's in connection with governments and countries and all of this different stuff. And I feel like we are an earth led by, well, not everybody, but as far as government wise and the way the world is ran, by a lot of these entities, these old gods. I mean, I really do.
I can get with that. I can get with that because they're, especially in today's world, like I guarantee you guys do the same thing. Shit's a lot fucking weirder than it's ever been.
Oh yeah.
Like it's full throttle. It is absolutely bizarre. Like the mental state of people, all the things that have happened. I just saw it got brought up in Congress that they're creating bioweapons that can target DNA, and all this just utterly asinine fictional shit is like just to the forefront of reality now.
They're just, like I said, they're just priming us.
It is
They're just priming
literally
us for
the most bizarre time of my life.
I mean, the Department of Defense just opened up a anomalous research chapter, like organization. That's freaking nuts, man.
Yeah.
Like they're literally, okay, you have these congressional UAP hearings and all this different stuff. All right, eventually there's so much evidence there. You have to have somebody in government step up and say, yeah, there's something there. We don't really know. We're trying to figure it out just like y'all are.
We'll look into it.
Yeah. But to open up an entire division and call it
X-Files, baby.
That's
X-Files.
Cue the Holosky intro, baby.
I need to sign up for that. They need to hire my ass.
Oh, dude, that would be awesome.
But
I would get fired because I would talk to everybody about it.
Yeah, same. We'd just disappear.
Oh, dude, it would happen without a doubt.
And on the note of being primed and all the UAPs and shit, and like them saying like there are vehicles and shit on this planet that are not from this planet, and everybody's just like, whatever, it's just another day. But on the flip side of that, like, look at the evidence that they decided to release. Like the Tic Tac video, it is the worst fucking video of a UFO I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It is just a fuzzy blip on a radar. And they're like, yeah, that's a UFO. Like, no. I need like Independence Day coming down
to
get everybody's attention, because now they're saying there's shit on the planet that we don't know. We don't know where the fuck it came from. And everybody's just like, oh well. Like that's
like room.
That's weird, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean it's became totally normalized. We've been indoctrinated.
Yeah, with all the evidence that they probably amassed forever, they give us that 40-second fuzzy Tic Tac video that is nothing. Nothing. So it's no wonder people are like, "Oh, that's the evidence you drop when you say aliens are real."
Yeah, but they're completely transparent.
Yeah, cool.
Oh,
yeah.
And by the way, on that Pascagoula abduction, when the guys talked about calling Keesler Air Force Base, I was in the Air Force. I was stationed at Keesler Air Force Base between 2001 and 2005. I can promise you, if they called them, they'd be like, I don't know what to do with this call. It's you know,
So it checks out.
yeah, it's an air education training center, AETC based. So it's all students.
That makes way more sense than them just being like, nah.
Yeah,
you didn't experience none of them.
there's medical students and there's weather school students, and that's it. So they were probably like, aliens? I don't know. That's
Call the local sheriff. He'll take care of you.
Just call your local PD. I don't know what to tell you.
That checks out a little bit more.
Yeah,
because I'm like, damn, they called an Air Force base, and they're like, nah, fuck that. We're not doing any of that.
no, I was telling Justin, about that, and I was like, I got to tell these guys this, a little validation for it. But the thing is, the Air Force bases, they're all gated off, security, the pylons you got to drive through, zigzag through. When you get up to the SPs, they're holding M16. Well, in my time, they were holding M16s. But, that would cause people to be like, hey, what the crap's going on in there? All the locals and all the stories and, I've seen all these. And I'm not saying they didn't see anything crazy, but my shop was right by the flight line, so we seen all kinds of crazy stuff. But I can just tell you that base, except for the hurricane hunters, those guys were crazy. A reserve unit on that base, and they would fly C-130s into the heart of a hurricane to track it.
Fuck that.
No thanks, sir.
No wonder the aliens are just like, you know what? We gotta check the brains on these people flying fucking airplanes into hurricanes and shit.
Like, what the hell is going on?
What if that whole theory of just extraterrestrials, aliens being like future us, and all they're doing is coming back and they're like, let's check out where we were at this time, and they just come back and that's all they're doing is like looking at us being like, good God, what is wrong with us?
Yeah.
You know what?
How did we make it this far?
With those stories, Napoleon, freaking Lincoln, the Civil War, things like Robert Smalls, check that guy out. My hero. But
we got the Robert Small.
I'm just talking about these people coming back and checking us out. It has to be like a reality TV show of the future, like dumbest moments in history right now is what it would be. There's no way they're just coming to see what we were up to, because they're like, this is where humanity went down.
Species that aren't meant to survive.
Yeah. This is why they're extinct, kids. And then all the lizard people fly up and they're like, okay, we get it.
Checks out.
Don't watch the Kardashians or any other reality TV show, because, you go fucking crazy and then you destroy your planet.
Just fly shit into hurricanes.
Yeah.
I love it.
And this is, Imagine just the people that founded this country and the people before that, if they were able to come see us now, like they went through the plague and shit, and they'd be like, nope, fuck that, send me back. This is nuts.
Take me back home.
Like, I don't even know what that was walking down the street, but
just take me back to 1743.
Yeah, just let's go.
This place is nuts. I'm going the fuck home.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, just let me die of the plague.
Yeah, kill the fucking time travel. We're done with this shit. The future is not so bright, everyone.
Oh, good God. And that's Appalachian Intelligence, folks. There it is.
Listen, I can't stop these thoughts, Justin. Once they start flowing.
All I know is Chris Bledsoe's ears are burning right now, Ryan, because you are on this Bledsoe train like crazy right now.
Listen, I am enthralled with this story. The only thing that's going to throw me off is if he starts a cult. If he starts a cult, I'm out. Like,
I mean, it does sound like He's getting his footing
It's
together.
leading that way. That's the feeling I was getting in part 3. By this point, when the white lady's coming and giving him directions, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is Waco all over again. You know what? David Koresh, if you're Jesus, why are you wearing glasses? Couldn't you just like heal your bad eyesight? I don't understand.
Nope.
Who the hell fell for that? Jesus wouldn't wear glasses. And he sure as shit wouldn't be named Koresh. That's where I'm going with this.
It's a solid point. Really.
I have no argument. No argument at all.
I'm behind Bledsoe until he starts a cult. Now I'm out. I'm not doing the cult thing.
He's been popping up on my Twitter feed nonstop. I don't know if I don't even follow him, but he's all over there, and I'm like, holy shit.
I haven't
He's
even
all
got
about this white lady and the feminine form and all this shit. And I'm like, either this dude needs a date or he just is pushing this super hard.
Yeah. I bet his wife felt great when he said it was the most beautiful woman he's ever seen.
He's like, oh.
It cut me deep. I'll get past it. But yeah, I'm behind him right now, but it's getting really culty.
I didn't think of it that way until you mentioned it, but now, yeah, the seeds are being planted.
Yeah, I mean, the people who buy into that theory, they're all about it, man.
Yeah,
they solely subscribe to that. The beings of light are everything. They are the Fae. They are the Bigfoot. They are everything.
And they don't want to hear any different either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They don't like when you.
And you're right. That is very culty.
Oppose it.
It's very culty.
Yeah.
But that's just where I feel like he's heading right now. Like you got to get a backing before you can actually have a cult. You know, it's not like a podcast. You know, you can start a podcast without any followers. It just helps to have them. But you know, and you want people to enjoy the content you're putting out. And that's why you
start a podcast.
And I love these conversations.
Before you start a cult.
Yes.
Use your podcast as a gateway to the cult.
That's his next step. He's already.
It sounds like somebody's got a plan of his own.
That's what I've been banking on.
Well,
that's why we're building this tribe. We're back to it. You just replaced that
full circle.
Full circle.
You replaced that word tribe with cult, and here we are.
Same thing.
Tomato.
Come on, hill folk, drink the juice.
His son Ryan does have a pretty big podcast. We'll just throwing that out there.
Oh yeah,
Bledsoe said
true.
said so. It's pretty
That
big.
is true.
Yeah, he hangs out with a lot of the big dogs.
Yep.
The things I put together was after the smear campaign. It wasn't long before you were talking about Chris himself said that he was contacted by the government, and I'm not calling him a liar. He could have been, that they ran a smear campaign on him and told him what they were doing. I don't know why they would tell him what they were doing. That doesn't make sense to me. I wouldn't tell somebody, you know, if I was running a smear campaign, hey, I ran a smear campaign on you. Sorry about that.
Just
you know,
my cover.
You can tell everybody that that's what we did, but they're never going to believe you, because that put a seed of doubt in my mind. Was like, it's Chris saying that he was contacted and it was a smear campaign. It's like he's trying to save face, and now he's building up a following. That's where I'm going with the culty thing.
Fair enough.
Those were the things I put together. But actually, on the flip side, giving the guy the benefit of the doubt, you know, he's got my backing right now until he starts the cult. Then it's over.
So he's just a couple really good words away from you joining the cult.
That's what I was thinking. He's like, I back the cult leader, but I'm not joining the cult.
Yeah, he's gonna have to give me a really good massage or something first before I just.
What flavor Kool-Aid is he bringing in? It's gonna be the make or break it there.
Hope it's that purple drink.
Yeah, but purple is my favorite monster, but.
All right, guys. I think we've been going for, well, it's 11:11. You know what that means.
Oh, shit.
Holy crap. Every time when we go
It's
to
time.
say it's about time to close down, it's 11:11.
That's another one of those little weird things.
Repeating numbers.
Synchronicities.
Yep.
Repeating is also on the Egress flyer.
Yeah. Oh, snap.
Repeating numbers.
Damn.
Yeah, well, if repeating numbers are their bag, well, I'm not even gonna say it because if they're listening in right now, I don't want you studying up on me.
It's
I don't wanna-
threes. It's threes, Egress. Get him.
Get him.
Contact me. I'll give you his info.
Shut up, Brian. But no, guys, I think we've been going for like a couple hours now at this point. But
Yeah.
man, it's time flies when you're having fun, dude. This has been great conversation. And dude, this is what I love. And this is what, we have. Here's the thing. We've had doctors and authors and filmmakers and, all these different people on this show, that specialize or are experts in certain things. But the episodes that I enjoy the most is having guys like you on that are just they're just out there doing the same thing that we're doing here. You've got questions in this super weird world and you're just doing your best to be genuine and trying to find those answers that we're probably never, ever going to find, but it's still super cool to talk about and think about. And I can tell by listening to you guys and I try to be the same way for our audience. You guys are really, really compassionate and genuine in the fact that you really do care about what you're putting out there and the people, the relationships that you're building out there with your audience. And dude, I love that. That's the thing. And I mean, like I said, these are the conversations these are the episodes that I enjoy more than anything. We can just sit down, chat it up. You guys aren't having to feel like, oh, well, we got to get all this information out about this certain topic in this amount of time and all it. If people want to hear that stuff, guess what? It's there. Go check these guys out. Go check out Steve and Kyle, the Holosky Podcast. They're great. We're all three huge fans here. I mean, they are doing something that I hope that I aspire to be on the same trajectory as they are one day. And I think that's the biggest thing in this, just like with anything, you have to have role models. And I can honestly say that you guys, I was
You need to swap timelines.
These shitty role models.
You need to swap timelines.
hey, look,
CERN, fired up.
I'm a glutton for punishment. What can I say?
We appreciate that, and
Absolutely.
I speak for both of us when we still don't know how to take positive reinforcement and stuff.
The shittier stuff hits easier. You're just like, okay, I expected that.
Yeah, the bad reviews were like, yeah, that checks out.
Yeah. You're not that far off.
It's all this positivity. I'm like, what in the fuck are we doing? But we do appreciate it. And like I was thinking when you were talking, if it wasn't for all of our listeners and the whole community we're building, it would just be me and Kyle talking.
Yeah.
That's all it would be. So Holosky is everybody. It's it's the entire community.
Yeah, and our intention. I mean, I remember talking about it. Grassroots. Sorry. Like we literally start because we can recall it. Like our first week releasing episodes is like 10 downloads. Like literally, we started from zero, nothing, bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, and the 10 was probably like my mom.
Yeah.
Your mom.
Yeah, it was family and friends, and it just I think you guys have something special too. I think
definitely
just if you can just stay genuine, like you were saying, and just stay focused, keep grinding them out. I think you'll make it. Like it.
Yeah, you have great interaction and charisma with one another.
Yeah, and that I think a lot
Easy
of people
to talk to.
a lot of people resonate with that.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. Well, we have a Ryan. I mean, How can you not love that, right?
He is a dragon hunter, so
It's true. That's true.
I'm possibly possessed by one. I don't know.
it's good.
I hope it's
in
Matthew McConaughey.
All right. All right.
Because wasn't he a dragon hunter in the movie Rain?
Oh shit, he was.
He was. I forgot about that.
Sorry, Kyle. I'm too bald to be Matthew McConaughey. I could be like
no, dude, he was bald in that movie.
Oh,
He was.
He was bald in that movie.
This pineal trip from taking that to the brain is just way out there.
Yep. And at the end, dude, he does not go out like a bitch because he jumps into that dragon's mouth with an axe.
Oh, I don't know about all
I'm coming
that.
for you.
That's-
Like, whoa, pump the brakes.
I'll be
We ain't going that
like
far.
the Dollar General knockoff version of Matt McConaughey,
Just look at the dragon through the window.
like a Joe Dirt or something. Let's Joe Dirt, the dragon fighter.
Dude, I am more than okay with that.
Wow.
I hope
Oh,
I hope when your pineal gland trip ends that you have vague memories of our podcast when we don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
oh gosh. Well, hopefully I just, power of life and death on the tip of the tongue, just speak it into existence, and you guys are real when I wake up. So
At least make us cooler.
that was
That
right
was-
off the top of my head too.
That
Sorry,
was like
Justin.
super deep, bro. That was like
Pretty decent.
One took
Pretty decent.
I didn't know how to respond to it. I'm like,
I don't need-
did you just wake up from the alternate timeline? Who is this?
I do that every once in a while.
the power of life and death. He does. Look, I will say, like, usually the end of every episode, we start trying to, it's the old Southern thing, you start saying goodbye 20 minutes before you actually say goodbye. But he comes up with these brilliant quotes just at the end of every episode, just like out of nowhere. Like he just talks mad crap the entire episode. And then all of a sudden, the power of life and death at the tip of my tongue. I just speak it into existence.
It's just a
What?
philosopher.
All right.
Maybe I'm not possessed by a dragon. Maybe it's Archimedes or something like that. But I feel like I'd be a lot better at math.
The power of life and death.
I don't know, dude. You did do the equation today.
I did the
That's it.
equation. If you fold a piece of paper 42 times, you can reach the moon. And not only can you reach the moon, you can go 13 billion feet past the moon. If you can fold a single sheet of paper in the 0.07 millimeters in thickness, and then each time you fold the paper, it doubles. So by the time you reach, I don't have that piece of paper with me, but by the time you reach 42 folds, if you convert millimeters into inches, inches into feet, you've gone, now it's 1,256,000,074 feet to the moon. By the time you fold a piece of paper 42 times, and it doubles each layer at 0.07 millimeters, converted into inches, converted into feet, it's 14 billion feet.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
He's like,
So not only do you
a
reach the moon,
savant. You guys need to capitalize on this. This is gold.
like, not only do you reach the moon, you go 12 point whatever billion feet past the moon. Like, you've reached
Way too many numbers.
Yeah.
Way too many numbers, bro.
Really, exactly. Yeah, he said they told me that. And I was like, not true. I don't believe it.
He's like, here, look at this.
Like the guy that believes every single paranormal cryptid UFO story that comes across his table,
My friend's an idiot. Don't listen to it.
Yeah, it's like you
Over
can't
here
fold.
knocking the equation out on the whiteboard. Like, look, if you just
It was like
just keep folding.
it was like Rain Man. It was like Rain Man. Like,
That's what I was thinking.
yeah, you can actually go 12.1 Fort B. Like what?
Past the moon.
Yeah, it's crazy.
On a Thursday.
Hey, I will give him this. We had Dave Weiss on here, Flat Earth Dave, and Ryan. Don't say anything. They don't have a great relationship, but
The sigh said it all. Just exhaustion. He's just like,
we had Dave Weiss on here, and he was asking these questions, like,
Dude,
how
my
far?
power's blinking. Stop talking about him.
oh,
Holy crap, that was weird.
He's done it 3 times.
Back. Oh, you know what that
Repeating
means?
numbers.
David, leave my shit alone. Crazy bastard. I mean, I've never.
Right. Let me say what I'm trying to say.
Never
Anyway,
in my life have I heard anybody spill as much shit out of their mouth as that man.
Here we go.
And then go, welcome to Flat Earth. Welcome. Gravity's not real. We all just sit here. We're just a flat disc traveling through space, billions of miles an hour, like a fucking fishing net through water. You catch shit, right? No. According to David, just deflects off somehow. We got a force field around us, apparently.
all right, let me say what I'm trying to say.
Is he going to talk about us like this on the next episode?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
No, this has been one of my favorites,
Just
guys.
wreck us.
This is awesome.
But no,
You'll have
Dave's
to
asking,
tune in to see.
Dave's asking these questions like, how far is it from the Earth to here, and how far it is, around the equator, and blah blah blah. And Ryan's just like spitting these numbers off, just like boom, 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 boom. And he was like, "You're literally the first person I've ever asked these questions to that got them right." It's Rain Man. It's Rain Man.
Don't come at me with your bullshit, Dave, because I'll call you out. Looking you in the eyes with confidence. I show the confidence.
I do.
Okay.
I think you guys need to capitalize on the savantness going on here because you got something. You got something.
Oh God. All right, guys. This has been great. This has been lots of fun. You guys plug your stuff before you jump off here.
Just search up the Holosky Podcast. We're on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, all that shit. We're also on all podcatchers, wherever you listen to podcasts, YouTube, wherever. Just search Holosky, HOLOSKY podcast, and we'll be there. Come and hang out. Join the Discord. You know the drill.
Get weird.
Get weird.
Call the holophone.
That's right.
Yeah, it was going off whenever we were recording.
Was it?
Actually, yeah.
Oh man, you guys should have answered. We would
It was Mark.
send you the recording.
It was Mark.
Dude, that is a great idea. God, we'll talk about it afterwards. Let's end this thing. Okay.
All right, let's go.
All right, guys. Again, Steve, Kyle, thank you guys so much for coming on. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
It's been a blast. Ryan, Lance, love you boys.
Love you, buddy.
It's great getting to do this again for another week. Hill folk, until next time, see y'all later.
See ya.